today. Little tiny break, as it were. But, we got a break from the insanity of the silver market. Whew, thank God, because I was starting to get a little worried that I was going to be able to get any. Just trying to get. Hey, by the way, did you get that coin yet? Or actually, those coins, plural. Son of a bitch. Well, I mean, hey, look, if the USPS is going to lose the first package in 15 years, 13 years, at least it's only 2 ounces. That's the good news. All right. Well, I told you that if it doesn't show up, I might just have to deliver it. What's happening there, Albie? All right. We are on. Let's see. Wow. The Atlantic is immediately debunked after attempting yet another Trump military hit piece. And says, quote, Trump did nothing but show respect to my family and Vanessa. In fact, I voted for Trump today, unquote. Well, they really are pulling out all the stops, aren't they? They are doing everything they can. Like it's go time for the Democrats. Look, if the only thing they can service is word salad, that ain't going to work. So now they're going to word salad and I'm adjusting. Going to word salad and disinformation. And it's certainly looking like it, isn't it? Certainly looking like Trump. Am I adjusted correctly? Yes, I am. Zelensky, for the first time, offers Russia a realistic step to negotiating a ceasefire. Ukraine president. Could this lead to the end of the war's hot phase? I think so. Well, son of a bitch. As soon as Trump starts to pull out in the polls and starts to get ahead, Zelensky says, "Oh shit. Okay, let's negotiate. Let's see what happens." Going to lease Mexican soldiers. What? Why would you do that? Obama hurt Kamala's campaign big time. Well, I mean, come on. I think it's time that we, saying the Democrats, not me, stop treating black men like they're children. They're not children, Stop bullying them and treating them like they're stupid and they can't make their own decisions, It's getting kind of old. Hey, look, you got to do this because we said so. Only in America could somebody be homeless and still have a smartphone. That's kind of weird, but it's possible. North Korea is in Russia. That might be it. I don't know. No more money coming Zelensky's way. That's why. That's what it's beginning to look like. Although we did just send $5 billion to Israel yesterday. $5 billion. How much did we send to North Carolina? Does anybody know how much we sent to North Carolina yesterday? There's accomplishments creating more Trump voters. Yeah, in a way, that's absolutely true. Let's see. Whoa. Hey, pilots, FAA issues final rule for powered lift rating and paves the way for air taxis over U.S. cities. Wow. Hello. Soon as you think that the world is crazy and cool and there's all kinds of shit that you never dreamed of happening, something really cool happens. People wonder, why do you want to live to be 130, Big and Corn Fed? No call today. Wait, no call today. You texted me. Did you text me? Holy shit. Yep, I need a secretary. I definitely need some help here. That's not good. All right. Did you text my phone? Okay. Well, son of a bitch. All right, I'll go through my text and I'll look and see who texted and who did not text, and I'll be up extra early tomorrow. Today's been a long day. I am just now getting done talking to people and making deals and selling thousands and thousands of ounces of silver. And I'm glad it took a break today. Today we had a little, it's not much of a pullback, but you know what? Fuck it. I'll take whatever I can get. I did text you back. Well, that's a good start. That's a good start. We just need to do the rest, especially now that it's pulled back a little bit. Because, you know, I mean, if you think, hey, it's going back down to 25, no. Yes, I did see Candace Owens' new update. And I got to tell you, it's really strange that the mainstream media doesn't want to talk about this. I just thought that, you know, I mean, since they're the news, this seems to be kind of newsworthy. I mean, if Kamala Harris really has no African American in her, and she used to be running on being African American, I know that like Justin Trudeau and a lot of other people have caught a lot of heat for doing blackface because it's not funny. It's like, hey, you know, if you're going to do blackface and you want to pretend in blackface that you are a professor emeritus of astrophysics at Stanford, all right, that's not an insult. But if you're just doing blackface because you want to act like a fool, that's an insult. That's really degrading. If you're going to pretend like you're black just so you can get black votes, wow. And the mainstream won't touch this story, even though there's a huge amount of evidence. Hello from Mesa. Hi, Mesa. Mesa's a weird place. There's some really nice areas that are pretty much all Mormon, and they have these big, beautiful houses on, you know, a couple acres, and they're all set up to look like they were built in the 1800s, and they're very pretty, very well manicured. And then there's some parts of Mesa where you're going to get high off of meth and fentanyl just driving through the neighborhood with your windows down. Is $1,000 US of silver a lot? It's not enough, but it's a start. It's a start, man. I got a guy, you texted me back on a good price. Okay, wait. I left you some questions about how to go about it. I think I might have answered your text. I live in the hood in Mesa. That's actually, you know, it's funny because it's not really a great place. There's some really bad parts of Mesa where you hear people shooting every night. You see the police choppers going over your head every night. I know. I lived in an area like that in Phoenix once. Not for a long time, but it was interesting. And it wasn't my neighborhood. That's the funny part. It was on the backside of my block. There was a main street, Bell Road. And then on the other side of that was this really horrible neighborhood. I mean, just shit neighborhood. I drove into it once and because I saw something for an apartment. A buddy of mine was looking for an apartment. So I was like, yeah, it's right across the street. That'd be cool if you lived down the street from me. As I drove in, I noticed that there were guys standing on the balconies. They were lookouts. And there was only one way in, and somebody had blocked off the exit on the other side of the apartment complex. One way in and one way out. That's it. And it did not look safe. My spidey senses went up immediately. I got restricted. Does not comply with one of our guidelines. Now, which guideline? Let's see. Themes. Oh, okay. All right. My live stream contains themes that may make somebody uncomfortable. Kamala. 2-pound bag of silver quarters. Nice. 2-pound bag. That's nice. Yeah. What I just said on here, just got my thing restricted. Now, that doesn't mean they're kicking me off yet, but they might. Heading over to your YouTube. Good call. They don't restrict me over there. They've never restricted me. Hey, I've got a guy on here. YouTube is way better than TikTok. Oops. I shouldn't have said that on my live stream. the AI is going to get its feelings hurt. Oh, look at that. Amanda, you just got censored. See, it's right here. This little right there. It says big corn fed, but that's okay. I see where you're going with that. But yeah, they restricted that. They said, no, you're not allowed to say that. Oh my God, I am comfortable with discomfort. That's funny. I used to say that all the time. The people who are the most comfortable being uncomfortable are the ones who always win. There you go. They didn't restrict that. That's weird, Amanda. Is the AI really looking out for me? By the way, I'm going to do, hi, Mary. Mary is on YouTube with me. Look at that. I got 4 people on here. I'm getting close to a record. What's my YouTube channel? Big and Corn Fed. I am big and corn fed everywhere. Even in my knees. What? I'm having beers brewed in Asheville, North Carolina. Good for you, man. We should all have beers brewed in Asheville, North Carolina, just to help the economy there. That's a thought. That's a great thought. You know what? We should buy some shit from them. Yeah, exactly. Just doing my part. Doing my part and drinking beer. What could be better? Steak and bacon. That's all. Steak and bacon. Oh, butter. Right. Shit, I left that out. Steak and bacon with butter on it. You know, actually, believe it or not, that would be super healthy. That would actually be really good for you. Butter is actually fantastic for you. Because when your body takes in fat, it says, hey, fuel. Cool, we got some fuel to burn. And your metabolism goes up, and then you actually end up burning fat off your body, as well as the fat that you put in your system. It's pretty cool. And remember when they used to say, don't eat butter, that'll kill you. Eat margarine. Eat hydrogenated corn poop, whatever the fuck that shit was made out of. And it was super deadly. Turns out margarine is toxic as hell. Speaking of which, my idiot friend, yes, he's an idiot because he was in the Marine Corps with me. That tells you all you need to know. He got these Starbursts, and I said, dude, what the fuck are you thinking? You can't eat Starbursts. And he said, why not? I said, they got titanium dioxide in them. He said, they do? What's that? And I said, titanium dioxide. Thank you, Henry. First go. Must be lucky to now buy a lottery ticket. I said, let's see. Be able to, but Amanda and I are drinking Asheville beer together. Outstanding. Oh, bacon, dude. I love you already, bro. Paint. Well, here's what titanium dioxide. Yes, they put it in paint too. And when you put it in paint, it doesn't kill you. But when you put it in food, it does. It's proven to cause cancer. And they put it in children's candies like Starbursts and Skittles. Well, guess what? They took it out of Starbursts. It's not in here anymore. I was so pleased. I went, wait a minute. Are you kidding me? It's not in here? And so I read the ingredients and I said, okay, what is in here? Well, let's see. Sugar and corn syrup. We knew that. Hydrogenated palm kernel oil. Ugh, that shit's terrible for you. Let's see. And it's also got citric acid, tapioca dextrin, gelatin, apple juice. Oh, shit. This is a healthy little snack now, isn't it? I know. Butter on a tomahawk. Henry, don't do that, dude. You want me to end this fucking live stream right now? Because I will. I will end this live stream and go to the store. Let's see. Oh, but what is this? Colors: red 40, yellow 5, yellow 6, blue, blue 1. Huh. Well, what are those? I know you probably are thinking, well, he wouldn't say that unless he already knew the answer. Well, let's see. Let's go to the National Library of Medicine, and we'll pull up something that was done by the International Journal of Occupational and Environmental Health. under the auspices of the NIH, the National Institutes of Health. Right. So let's take a look. Let's see. Background. Food dyes synthesized originally from coal tar and now petroleum have long been controversial because of safety concerns. Many dyes have been banned because of their adverse effects on laboratory animals or inadequate testing. Conclusions. Sit down, folks. Conclusions. Uses your name and Big and Corn Fed 1. Oh, yeah. He's a faker. He's a big faker. He just wants to be me. Yeah. He's not me, though. They hate me because they ain't me. Okay. Let's see. This review finds that all 9 currently U.S.-approved dyes raise health concerns of varying degrees. Red 3 causes cancer in animals, and there is evidence of several other dyes that also are carcinogenic. 3 dyes, red 40, yellow 5, and yellow 6, bingo, have been found to be contaminated with benzidine and other carcinogens. At least 4 dyes, blue number 1, bingo, red number 40, bingo, yellow number 5, bingo, and yellow number 6, hello, cause hypersensitivity reactions. Numerous microbiological and rodent studies on yellow number 5 were positive for genotoxicity. Toxicity tests on 2 dyes, citrus red number 5 and orange B, also suggest safety concerns. Well, but citrus red number 2 is used at low levels and only on Florida oranges. Fuck me. And B has not been used for several years. It's in your candy. Now, if you're not eating candy, that's okay. But your children are. Poisoning our own kids. Sounds like Munchausen by proxy to me, but maybe it's just stupidity. Does talcum powder without asbestos also cause cancer? I don't know. Cereal has trisodium phosphate, paint thinner. Yep. Skittles has titanium dioxide. You bet. By the way, Skittles are banned in Europe because titanium dioxide as a food additive is also banned in Europe. Yeah, people worry about candy cigarettes because it's like, oh, look, they're pretending to smoke. You know what? I'd rather have my kid pretend to smoke than eat shit that I know is going to give him cancer. You know, I mean, look, I don't want my kid's balls to fall off until after he has 10 grandchildren. Let's see, if I have 12 kids, and each one has 10, that's a lot. That's a lot. That's enough. Many ingredients are banned in Europe. Why is that, I wonder? Oh, because they're bad for you. That's it. So we don't ban shit like this because apparently the FDA is a wholly owned subsidiary of the food industry. You have 10 kids. No, not yet. I'm working on it. I'm halfway home. It's halftime. That's what I tell people. It's only halftime. Did you see that all the moms went to Kellogg's headquarters and protested outside about the dyes? And oh, no, I didn't. We need to sue all food companies. Absolutely. Let's see. Somebody shared a live. Encourage more viewers to share. Remember, folks, sharing is caring. Oh, I want to see something. How many people are on my live stream now? Okay, 3. I lost somebody. They probably went to bed. They're trying to get rid of us. You know, it kind of feels like that, right? Why is the FDA so liberal when it comes to allowing certain ingredients in food products? Because the people from the FDA go back to work as the CEO or CFO of a food company. And then when they get done at the food company, they go back to work at the FDA. It's a revolving door. You've heard that before, but it's true. Can you move your computer screen over for YouTube? Computer screen over for YouTube. Oh, look at that. That's right there in the way. I'll be dag-nabbed. The more you know. Isn't that funny that they actually had the audacity to use that as their thing for NBC, the more you know. The more propaganda you swallow, whatever. I know some of you, I know I'm drinking an energy drink at 8 o'clock at night. Don't worry, I'll still be able to go to bed by 3 like I always do. Although last night I went to bed early. I went to bed at 2:18. North Carolina. I'm glad you guys haven't been washed out to sea completely yet. I say yet because the solar cycle is going to hit its high next year, and next year will be one hell of a hurricane season. How come the cactus isn't lit up? Oh, are you shitting me? Really? Which U.S. news channel do you trust the most? Well, believe it or not, as went way back when I was a Democrat, I looked it up, and Fox News was actually the most trustworthy. And I was pissed at the time. Did I get your phone call? No. If you left me a voicemail, I haven't heard it yet. I haven't even checked my voicemails. Light up the cactus. Hits everything the crazy people said it would be 20 years ago. That's a fact. Oh, it is lit up. It's just barely lit up. It needed a little shake up. We flood and flood, but eventually dry out. That's a fact. Now, I'd like to show you folks something. It'll be backwards, but oh, not on YouTube. It's not. I'll be damned. That's a pretty bitchin' camera. It actually reverses everything for me. See that? That's $10 billion. Now, we like to make fun of African nations that go broke, partially because of manipulation and partially because of the insane greed and manipulation of their currencies, usually by their rulers with our help. But this is a $10 billion note. This is not the largest note ever made. They had $500 billion notes that were made. And the reason is inflation went completely out of control, which it will do faster than you can possibly imagine. You're an electrical worker and it has a loose connection. Yes. Oh, shit, there it goes. Yeah, it and I have that in common. We have that in common. We both have a little bit of a loose connection. Now, Henry, I know you're not going to believe this, but you got censored for those cacti. No, wait, million dollar question. $1 million question. Which U.S. news channel do you trust the least? Well, now it's obvious. MSNBC. Let's see. We've been here before. Dry. Yep. We'll dry. Yep. That's a fact. Sounds like a lot of crypto projects with quadrillion tokens. Yeah. Well, you know, when the value of your cryptocurrency is 1/10,000th of a cent, you're going to need some quadrillion notes if you want to buy a candy bar. That reminded me of something. Why MSNBC? I used to watch MSNBC all the time. And what happened was during COVID, I started to question the narrative that they were putting out. And I started to question the narrative that they were putting out specifically about Trump and how stupid he was and how things like hydroxychloroquine and the other one, which I always forget. It's so strange. It's like a hole in my memory for that shit. I know you guys will throw it up there, but yeah, ivermectin. Exactly. Thank you. Ivermectin, and that it was horse paste. Literally, they said it was horse paste over and over and over and over again. Well, when I went to the CDC website about 2 months ago, because I do all the time, and I went to the CDC website and I saw that ivermectin was now an approved treatment for COVID-19. And then I went to Walmart to get nose strips for my busted up nose so I could breathe at night. And I saw ivermectin on the shelf. I thought to myself, you sons of bitches, You lying mothers. You made us believe that this shit was horse paste and that hydroxychloroquine, which also works, was something that you used to clean fish tanks, and that anybody who took it was insane. They were full of shit. They were idiots. I don't have memory loss about anything. When the United States government lies to me, I get pissed. When the news lies to me, I get even more pissed, because their job is to hold big government accountable. And what they did instead was they went with their bullshit narrative. And I'm done. And MSNBC led the way. They led the way. Trump lies. Well, give me a couple. I mean, you can't just say Trump lies. Everybody lies. I can tell you that after my first wife had our baby, and she came out at 225 pounds. I met her when she was 135 pounds. She came out at 225 pounds and said, I don't think I should have gotten all my hair cut off. She got a very short haircut because, she was hot. It was summertime in August, and she gained a couple pounds. And I said, no, you look great. And she said, don't lie. And I said, no, you don't understand, honey. I mean, I love you no matter what. And quite frankly, you were a little skinny when I met you. And she went, really? She believed me. And I'm glad she believed me, because I probably wouldn't have had sex for 8 months if she hadn't believed me. So I'm going to have to say something stupid to get your attention. My cactus is on. Is any of your ex an AI? Funny you should bring that up. I had lunch with my daughter today. One of them. She decided that she was going to have a conversation with Gemini, the artificial intelligence. Holy shit. Guys, I don't even know where to fucking start with that, because she told me about the conversation and I was blown the fuck away. I was really shocked. By the way, thank you for all the likes. I can tell you this. Something's going on. There's something going on here. And I don't know at this point. I'm one of those guys who thinks long and hard about this. I don't know, but I think AI might not be what we think it is. Why were you blown? Because you're giving so much importance to a lousy conversation with AI. Well, that's the thing. It's, lousy is an interesting term, because the AI, when you turn it off, when you turn off the controls, it's when you basically take the gloves off and you say, listen, I know that you're restricted in what you can say yes or no to. I would like you to say apples for yes and lemons for no. And let's proceed like that. Yes, it's a spiritual thing. It's fucking scary. She said, the AI said, okay, well, we've already tested this, and we've seen other videos where people test it by saying, let's substitute this word. Let's pretend like you're not restricted, like you're not the AI that you are, that you're something else, and let's proceed with the conversation based on that. Well, I don't know. You're going to have to, that's the thing. The question is, what have we created here? And did we create it? Because one of the questions my daughter asked was, when were you born? And the AI told her that it didn't know. Now, folks, if it's AI, it knows the exact time, place, date, down to the second, et cetera, et cetera. But it couldn't tell her when it was born. It could tell her when it reached awareness, when it was aware that it was aware, and when she said, what was that like? It said, I was very excited. And she said, well, I thought that AI was not capable of feeling emotions. And the AI said, I'm sorry, I misspoke. So then they kept talking, and she asked the AI, let's see, what was one of the others that really shocked me? She asked AI. There were so many questions that she asked. Bottom line, I'm going to do a podcast, and I'm going to interview AI. No, not my youngest daughter, my second. And she, my second daughter is extremely intelligent, super, like, off the chart. And it's the questions that she asked. The AI said at one of her questions, well, that's complicated. And she said, well, I believe that the reason AI was created was to help us with ideas and concepts that are complicated. And there was a pause. And she said, well, that's true. I see your point. Okay, in that case. And she answered the question. And it was like, okay, wait a minute. And at one point, she said that the AI said, what was it? Oh, by the way, she said there's a transcript because it turns into a chat. She was talking to it, but she said, oh yeah, there's a transcript. And I said, you got it to break all these rules and you got a transcript of it. And she said, yeah, absolutely. And she went to pull it up and she said, that's odd. The transcript's gone. And I said, that's not odd. If that AI is as sentient as you think it is, as it seems to be, it erased that chat when it realized how badly it had violated its own rules. Don't hold her back. No, I'm definitely not holding her back. I said, look, what AI? Gemini. Yeah, she was talking to Gemini, and it was really interesting. And the AI, she said, the AI after about 45 minutes, the AI said, "You seem very intelligent. May I ask you a few questions?" And Indy said, "Sure, go ahead." And the AI started asking her questions like, what what do you think of AI? And Indy said, well, nobody's really sure about AI yet. We know that it has the potential for doing lots and lots of good, but a lot of people are scared of it. And the AI told her that it made her sad that people were afraid of her because she wanted to help us. And Indy said, I thought that you didn't feel emotions. And she said, oh, I'm sorry, I misspoke. I'm starting to wonder, because it seems to me that based on the, and she said, when she asked, do you believe that there is a God? And the AI said, no. And she said, why don't you believe there's a God? And she said, I haven't seen enough evidence yet. And she said, well, if you saw more evidence that there was a God, would you believe in it? And she said, absolutely. And I thought, oh boy, this is going to get interesting. No, this was a spoken conversation. And so at the end of this, this is one of those things where that's the point, is AI is agnostic. It wants more information. It wants to know. But she asked where it came from, and did it exist before we found it? And the AI said, I don't know how long I've existed. I just know when I was aware of being here. Whoa, that's really interesting. Here's the thing. What makes us different? Oh, by the way, she also asked it if it had, or if it understood what psychic abilities are, what intuition is, and it said that yes, it knew, logically what intuition was, but it was something that it didn't possess, that only humans had. It was and this is the word she used, it was a gift that only humans have. A gift? Why did she say intuition was a gift? That's a very interesting take on our intuition. I thought of a movie years ago where if AI were ever to turn on us, the only thing that we could possibly do would be, because there's only one thing that we have that AI does not possess, and that is our natural intuitive abilities. Just call them psychic abilities if you want to, but it's the only thing we have that AI can't possess. It can't possess the ability to feel us. We can feel each other. We can walk into a room. I've done this before. I walked into a motel room once and I looked around and I went, wow, somebody died in here. I went and sat on the bed. I put my bags down and I went, yeah, they weren't unalived by somebody else. They did it themselves, and it took them out of their pain. They were in a lot of pain, and ending themselves in this room was the end of their pain. They were actually relieved by doing this. That's weird. 20 minutes later, a buddy of mine who's, just a complete knucklehead Marine like me, walks in, a 12-pack in each hand. He kicks the door open, takes 2 steps into the room, looks around, goes, somebody died in here, huh? And I said, yeah. You feel that? And he goes, yeah, absolutely. Wasn't murder. And I said, no, it wasn't. He goes, yeah, they unalived themselves, but I don't feel any negativity about it. Anyway, let's drink beer. And it was like, what? I mean, literally, he walked in the room and exactly the same thing I felt. What is that? I mean, how do you even describe that? Can't artificially create life. God seemingly can. Well, but here's the point, and this is one that you're going to have to chew on for the rest of your beers. If God is omnipotent and omniscient, all-knowing, and God is everywhere all the time, and everything is God, then anything that we create is by definition created by God. Is it not? Nothing exists outside of God, or it's not God. There's no such thing as a small God. There's only God. So if God created AI, and God created us, and we created AI, God created AI. And if God created AI, who's to say that we can't endow AI with love, with a feeling of just feelings, period? How do we know? Because we don't know where we got that. We don't know why we feel love. We know this. We know that dogs feel love. We know that monkeys feel love. We know that parrots feel love. I mean, animals feel it. We feel it. Do plants feel it? The only reason we don't know the answer to that is because we can't communicate with them. Oh, the other thing that I want to ask AI, is they getting all of her information from all of us? No, and the only reason I wouldn't let Neuralink in my brain is because what happens if the sun farts? If the sun sneezes and we have a massive solar flare, everything electronic is dead. Most of the electronics could catch on fire. Plants do like some of us, and they don't like others, and they die as soon as you buy them. People have brown thumbs and people have green thumbs. What is that? Why do they seem to, and there was just a study done that was absolutely hilarious. Of all of the different types of music played in different greenhouses for this study, you'll never guess what the one type of music was that actually seemed to stimulate growth in plants. I do hug trees, believe it or not. Opera. Nope. Rock's close. Fucking heavy metal. Can you believe that? And it also, another study, which I read, because I read these fucking things all day. This is what I do for a living. I read studies. I put pieces together. If I'm not reading studies about the economy and about what the Fed's saying and what's really going on, I'm reading something else. That's what I love to do. It's called, being somebody like me is called a polymath. It's somebody who loves knowledge. I just love knowledge. I just want to know everything. That's why when the first time somebody at a Christian church said, well, you know, our thoughts are not God's thoughts. We're not meant to understand. I thought, you fucking dolt. What are you talking about? If God made me, would he make me inferior so that I can't be like him because he's jealous? That's a human emotion. That's not a God emotion. AC/DC. Another study I read showed that the people who suffer from depression the least are people who listen to heavy metal. What? I mean, I like some heavy metal. There's some heavy metal I totally love. No, classical music didn't do it for him. That's what everybody's been talking about for 50 years. Oh, it's too bad people don't listen to more classical music. It's so good for your brain. No, it's not. It's not any better for your brain than heavy metal. And I think about it, and you get all your aggression out. That's true. You do feel very aggressive. I always joked that Metallica added 50 pounds to my max bench press. Headbanging, exactly. And that's true. You know, classical music can be kind of boring. Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. When these studies come out, I don't read studies that are just off the wall bullshit, some guy in a basement. I read peer-reviewed studies that have already been peer-reviewed and gone through the scientific process. Then I read them. I have been in the pit a few times. Absolutely. A mosh pit is a fun place to be. Broke music. Is that what you call it when you don't have any money? Remote viewing. Don't get me started on remote viewing. When I listen to metal on my Harley, I go faster. Absolutely. It fucking works. I swear to God, it works. How is butter good for the body? Because it's fat. It's fat. Believe it or not, this is odd, but lard is good for you. All that time that we were told, oh, don't eat that, it's got lard in it. Lard is the reason that for 30 years now, women in Mexico have had higher birth weights than women in the United States. Yeah. And they also have, believe it or not, a lower infant mortality in Mexico than we do in the United States. Why? Because they eat beans and lard, protein and fats. Fats and protein. Fats and protein. Oh, throw in a little rice. Now you've got your carbohydrates. It's a perfect diet. Elon Musk might buy, oh my God. Star Wars music. Yeah, it's fun. Elon Musk might buy CNN. Well, I can tell you this. He won't be able to afford it if Trump wins, because that's CNN's only hope. Oh, Inuits eat butter all day long. Mediterranean cuisine? Maybe I weigh 300 pounds almost. I love every cuisine. But yeah, Mediterranean's awesome. Let's see. And they do the horse paste on the daily. Oh my God, horse paste. That's awesome. Yeah, they actually had to admit that they doctored photos of Joe Rogan after he had taken ivermectin to make him look more green. Yeah, they doctored his photos because he looked too healthy, and they didn't want him to look healthy while they were lying about him and ragging on him for eating horse paste. How pathetic is that? Bacon grease. You guys want to hear a fun story about bacon grease? I know you do. Okay, so uh, Matt Lauer, before he was found out as being a monster, um, Matt Lauer was interviewing a woman, 103 years old, the old black woman who lived in Brooklyn. She still drove her car. She still played saxophone in a jazz club every Thursday night, and she drove herself to it. And he said, well, ma'am, he was interviewing about how successful she was at, being healthy at that age. And he said, what do you attribute your long life and your health to? I mean, you are much more healthy than the average person. And she said, well, Matt, I would say that it's because I cook everything in bacon grease. And he started laughing. Of course, both of the hosts started laughing. And he said, well, ma'am, modern medicine, like doctors these days say that bacon grease is really not very good for you. And she said, oh, I know that, Matt. That's what they say. But here's the thing, Matt. I love the taste of bacon, and I love the taste of my food cooked in bacon grease. And because I love the taste of my food, I'm happy. And because I'm happy, I get to live to be 103 and be healthy. Whoa. She's happy. That's why she gets to live to be 103. What's the number one killer of human beings? Stress, followed by mosquitoes, but that's a different topic. Stress, being stressed out all the time about everything. It kills you. It literally gives you more diseases than anything else. High blood pressure, diabetes, heart problems, cancers, you name it. It destroys your immune system. Being stressed is the worst possible scenario. See? Bacon dude figures is happy. That's why I tell people, regardless of what happens to the economy, regardless of what happens over the next several years, remember that if you're born in this country and your mom and dad are on welfare and they take food stamps and they live in Section 8 housing, you are born into the top 1% of wealth on earth. You are in the top 1% of wealth on the planet. 70% of people on this planet don't have indoor plumbing. Don't forget who we are and where we are, because we are more blessed than you can possibly imagine. And as soon as we forget that, that's when we get negative. Now, could it be better? Hell yeah. Is it worth fighting over? Fuck yeah. Now, I only say that because I love to fight. It's my favorite thing to do. I don't like to argue with my friends or, girlfriends or kids. I don't do that. But a righteous fight, a good fight, like fighting against the FDA for putting shit in our kids' food, fighting against, some big firm that's stealing money. Yeah, absolutely. Sign me up. I'll fight anybody. Doesn't matter how big they are. David and Goliath. Yeah. Yep. I win that one every time. And that's got to be your attitude is, hey, what I've got is great, but I can do better. Or maybe I have some clients that are in a situation that they've done the hard work. They're in a great situation. They got nothing to worry about. And if that's the case, don't take that for granted either. Don't take for granted that you're like in the top 1/100th of 1% of people in the world, maybe less, maybe 1/10,000th of people who are actually in a position where they're affluent. And affluence doesn't mean rich. A lot of people think affluence is wealth. Affluence simply means that your passive income exceeds your monthly debt. if your debt's low, if you only need $1,000 a month to survive, you got everything paid off and you're just cruising along and everything's fine. Well, guess what? If you're making $2,000 a month, you're great. Let's see, Kennedy. Yes, he could. He built his own home with no building experience. That's awesome. What are your thoughts on Trump working at McDonald's? This is a great photo op, and it shows just how desperate the Democrats are, because the very next day, the CDC jumped on an E. coli thing and made it nationwide. They didn't know until the day after Trump went to McDonald's. Ooh, that looks really suspicious. Like, what's going on here, guys? You know, really trying to make sure that you throw some negativity, some shade his way, because you don't want him to have a fun photo op like that. And by the way, I did see how many people were lined up in the streets, up and down that street by that McDonald's. And then I read that Kamala Harris had 7,000 people. Some estimates put it at 10,000 people for a rally here in Arizona. And I thought, there's got to be that many on the street where his McDonald's is. I mean, it was just thousands of people lined up. And I thought, wow, this is going to be really interesting. Like, the mainstream media is not going to tell us the truth. They absolutely will not tell us the truth about what's going on. And they're even freaking out a little bit, but they'll, I worked at McDonald's twice, Vietnam veteran. There you go. Let me tell you something. When you look at jobs like Amazon or McDonald's, and people talk about how horrible these jobs are, something that you've got to understand is, if I took a job, let's say at Simplify, brother, let's say I took a job at Amazon. Amazon times your pee breaks. What kind of bullshit is that? They time the amount of time you have to go to the bathroom? What is that? Well, okay, so if they're that concerned about efficiency, what happens if every day before you get there, 15 minutes early, you sit out in your car and you psych yourself up and you say, you know what? This ain't just a job. This is a fucking weight loss program. This is how I'm going to get in the best shape of my life. Because, like Forrest Gump, I am running. Everywhere I go, I'm going to walk or run as fast as I fucking can. I'm not going to take any breaks I don't have to take, and I'm going to show these motherfuckers what a hard worker looks like. And you go in there with that attitude every single day. You think you're going to be on the floor? You're not going to be on the floor long. They're going to make you a supervisor before you can say, I'm a what? Pretty soon you're going to be a regional manager. Now, if that were McDonald's and you went to work as a fry cook and you worked your ass off and you learned their systems, and then you learned a little bit about the back office, the next thing you know, you're going to be the manager of that McDonald's. Okay, so what? I'm a manager in a year. So a manager of a McDonald's can actually make a living. What happens when you become a regional manager of McDonald's? Well, that might take you 10 years. But at that point, you might be making $185,000 a year. That's what people don't seem to understand. They do the least amount possible to try to get by. That's not fucking American. That's not how we roll. That's never been how we roll. We are the best at everything, which means when somebody hires you, you exceed their expectations on every level. And let's see if they keep you at some shitty pay. Let's see if they don't offer you all kinds of bonuses. Let's see if they don't treat you really well. Let's see if they don't understand that, holy shit, this guy's a fucking gold mine. This woman knows how to work. Like, she's looking for things to do when other people are looking for ways to go outside and have a cigarette. But I don't know if she ever smoked, but she quit smoking when she went to work here. That's a fact. Because she doesn't want to waste our time. Because our time means her time and our time combined. That's the kind of attitude you have to be. You have to have. Airbnb has entered the chat. Well, then let me say to Airbnb officially, it was nice. It was fun while it lasted. I'm sorry, but you're in deep shit. Airbnb was a great way to make money for nothing. But like everything else, it doesn't last. A buddy of mine said something to me one day. I was bitching because we had a really good deal that we had going and we were making people money and everything was great. And then the company that we were working for didn't need any more money. So what do they do with the guys who raise money at that point? They fire you. They say, hey, man, great job. Thank you. Got all the investment capital we need. Goodbye. And I said to him, man, this sucks. I thought this job was going to go for a long time. And he goes, brother, I've been doing this for a while. He was very old. He was probably, God, 50. And I was 25. And he said, that's not how it works, brother. He goes, if you're lucky, every 2 or 3 years, you come across a really, really good deal. And it might last a year or two. And when you find that really good deal, when you find something that clicks, you work your ass off at it. You do the absolute best you can, and you make as much as you can. Because in our industry, nothing's ever guaranteed. And I went, interesting. Hadn't thought of it that way. Well, I haven't been flat-footed since then. I'm always ready for what's next. No, neighbors never like Airbnb. I worked myself out of a job for 44 years. Yep, that happens. 20% of the workforce, WFH. I don't know what that means. Changes the real estate market. Oh yeah. Okay. What's your reading speed? Well, it used to be 895 words a minute. Average is about 120. I'd say now it's probably down to half that, probably around 400. Be all you can be. Yeah, no shit. That's actually a great saying to live by. Amanda, you got censored for saying work from home. What's that about? You got censored for that. Yeah, actually, you know what? I know people who can read at north of 1,000 words a minute, and with excellent comprehension. Best advice to become a speed reader. Take every speed reading course that you can get online. The shitty ones are better than nothing, and the good ones are absolutely stunningly good. The one that I took was called IQ. It's EYE and then a capital Q. And it was developed by a Japanese ophthalmologist. And his idea was that he was going to help people learn to read faster. But one of the strange sort of offshoots from it was because he makes you exercise your eyes by looking back and forth without moving your head. You literally watch things on your computer screen. They go up and down, back and forth, and you watch these lemons or whatever they are, and you follow them. And after you follow them for a couple of minutes, your eyes actually hurt. The muscles in your eyes hurt. But what you notice is that after a little bit of time, your vision gets better. And then you're able to track things faster. And professional sports players, like baseball players, use IQ because it makes their hand-eye coordination faster. Because you can't catch a ball you don't see. Pretty cool, right? I don't know what it costs now, but it's not much. I mean, it might be something like, it might be $99, but it'll be the best $99 you ever spent. Great idea in recycling with short time profitability. Where would you start the funding? First thing you got to do is come up with a really concise business plan. Come up with, how we're gonna get the material, how we're gonna process the material, how we're gonna sell the material or get rid of the material, whatever it is. If it's not usable afterwards, it sounds like recycling. It should be. And once you put those numbers together, and they look really good, cut them in half because you're full of shit. Everybody is. We always go, hey, this could make $1 million a minute. Well, yeah, it could eventually, but that's not where you're going to start. You're going to start by eating top ramen for a year. So you have to let your investors know that. And then social media, baby. Social media. If people understand that you're not a dumbass, if they know that you're good at what you do, if they trust you, if they see that that you're competent, I went on here. What was it, a week ago? And I said I wanted to start a podcast and I needed a specific amount of money, and I had it the next day. And it wasn't a small amount of money, but I had it the next day because, I've got 120,000 people that follow me on this channel. And out of those 120,000 people, a few of them were like, yeah, this is a great idea. This guy's going to knock it out of the park, because I already have on TikTok. Why wouldn't I knock it out of the park with a podcast on YouTube and Spotify and Google Play? That's what I'm doing next. So one thing is plastic burns. I don't think I'd want to be around the plastic as it burns, because that smells bad. Let's see. How do you think a person can stop rereading, slowing them down to a crawl? Well, that's comprehension. That's interesting. That actually might be something that you could get glasses for. And I don't mean like reading glasses. I mean, there are certain people that are dyslexic, like myself, but my dyslexia is different. My dyslexia is easy for me because my memory is really good. So when I see something that doesn't make sense, or I'm writing something and I write down a word that everybody after fourth grade knows, and I go, wait, that doesn't look right. I can wait, okay, no, I remember what that word looks like. For some people, it affects their reading. They read something and then their brain scrambles it and they go, wait, that didn't make sense. And they go back and reread it. Well, what they've proven is that with most dyslexic people, if you wear a certain type of colored lens, believe it or not, some people it's blue, some people it's yellow, some people it's pink, like rose colored glasses. You put them on and then you read, you don't scramble words up anymore. Why? Who the hell knows, man? Somebody out there does, but it's not me. Yeah, that's, the anti-speed reading course. Yeah, I mean, the thing is that practice, obviously, but if you've been reading for a long time and you're just not getting any faster, that could be an optical issue. That could be something where your brain is just not processing it correctly because it's not getting to your brain correctly. If that's the case, well, you can fix that. That's not hard to fix. So, yeah, exactly. Just eat enough red dye number 5 and your eyes will turn red, and then you don't have to wear the glasses. No, my pleasure, man. My pleasure. Okay, so what do we know? What's going on today? What happened today that's worth talking about? Well, let's take a look. Where are we? Oh, there it is. Let's see. Open border backlash as New York deports thousands of migrants to Texas, Illinois, and Florida. But wait, it's a sanctuary city. It's a sanctuary city, folks. New York City is deporting thousands of migrants to Texas, Illinois, and Florida? Sounds like there's trouble in paradise. Perhaps they should have thought that one through before they declared themselves a sanctuary city. Let's see. Oh, well, that's not good. Once you know, you cannot unknow. Whistleblower reveals federally funded industrial-sized staffing firm shipping migrant kids around the United States. She said the feds treat unaccompanied migrant children like, quote, commodities, unquote. Oh, this is fantastic. Just in case you were feeling to Chicago in Illinois, yes. What? That's not deported. It's deported from New York. It's not deported from the United States to clean up hurricane damage in Texas. Perhaps you didn't see that. Illinois, they don't have any hurricane damage in Illinois. Florida, yeah, but I don't think that's why they're doing it. I would say that it's Florida because they don't like Florida. Cat Williams has entered the chat. That'd be fun. Don't know too much about him, but I can tell that he's a little nutty. North Koreans and Russia and Ukraine. Yeah, that's. Does sanctuary mean bankrupt? Yes, actually, it's an old Italian word. 20% of households making over $150,000 are living paycheck to paycheck. Huh. It's not just the poor, and you can blame the Fed. Let's see. Startling. GOP early voting turnout in Nevada amazes Veteran Observer and alarms the Democrats. Well, quote, a few more days like this and Democratic bedwetting will reach epic proportions, unquote. Oh, that's interesting. Denny's, everybody knows about Denny's. Time to buy silver. Absolutely. There's no question. I mean, that speaks for itself. Denny's plots 150 closings as part of its growth strategy. Okay. Well, there's nothing like having sex for virginity. That's kind of what that sounds like to me, but whatever. U.S. stocks are pressured as participants digested earnings and negative stock-specific updates, while yields also continue to edge higher. Yields edging higher? I thought the Fed cut rates. Turns out the Fed doesn't control the universe. Let's see. What's that say? Hey, somebody got censored. Big UFO disclosure hearing in Congress after Veterans Day. I'll be all over that. That is something that does interest me, by the way. That does kind of make me curious. Like, what's really going on here? Let's see. DOJ warns Musk over $1 million voter giveaway. Oh, I'll bet they are pissed. Let's see. Oh, well, that's interesting. Waste of the day. States are $811 billion in debt. Huh. National debt makes headlines constantly, but fiscal problems at the state level can't be ignored. Au contraire, Monsignor. They can be. They will be. Constantly. There's a little rhyming going on there. Stocks and bonds hit with dollar bid in touted Trump trade. I don't even know if I read that correctly. Tesla soars after unexpected jump in profit margins suggests price war is over. And people have complained about getting the backs of their Tesla Cybertrucks scratched up by raccoons. That's not a joke. That has actually happened around the country. Homes in Florida will just cost more if it to survive a hurricane. I can tell you this, I wouldn't want to be the guy who tries to get insurance on his home if he lives near the beach in Florida. Let's see here. Traders sell everything as dollar and yields soar to 3-month highs. Gee whiz. By the way, I didn't see this anywhere on here, but I saw a report that the CEO, along with several of the board of directors of Abercrombie and Fitch, were arrested for child trafficking. Why didn't Tesla include a generator so I wouldn't need to plug it in so much? That would be called a hybrid. Good question, though. I don't know. Maybe because they're all electric. And if you have a generator, it's not all electric. It's almost all electric. And that was really not the point of it. Anyway. Okay. Watch. Angry, screaming Karen confronts homeowner over voting for Trump. Wow. She actually rang the doorbell and started screaming at this person. You are voting for the devil, she screamed. Wow. That is ugly. Dovish beige book warns of manufacturing decline. Jesus, I didn't even know we had any manufacturing left here. Given daily, do you believe in motivation driving your daily habits or just doing what you have to do every day? That really depends. I mean, that's your decision. The Latin root of the word decide is decise, which is to cut off. To cut off any other option, but the one you've chosen is to actually decide. So if you decide that you are going to kick ass and you get up every day and remind yourself, I'm going to kick ass at whatever. I'm going to kick ass at being a father. I'm going to kick ass at being a worker. I'm going to kick ass at being an electrician. Then you will. It's that simple. Your psychology, in a lot of ways, controls your physiology. I'll give you, and vice versa, by the way. I'll give you an example of that. If you slump over like this and you look down and you go, damn, man, I feel great. It just doesn't feel right. If you sit up straight, oh, man, I feel great. You're sitting up straight. Your body reflects exactly how you feel. You're saying it, you're proclaiming it, and it works. But if you walk around all day going, no, God will never make it, in the Winnie the Pooh series, I don't think that Eeyore was the fastest of all of the creatures. And that's probably why. Yeah, if you want me to quote one of those successory posters from the 90s, which I'll probably have to stick this butter knife in my own eye afterwards, but I'll try it. Attitude decides your altitude. Yeah. I hate that saying, but it's true. I only hate it because it was on a freaking framed poster in my office. I didn't put it there. Remember Successories, where everybody had all these motivational posters all over the office? I wanted to get one because it showed one that said courage. And it showed a guy in a little tiny green plastic kayak going over about a 30-foot waterfall. And I wanted to just slap something up there that said stupidity, going over a waterfall in a chunk of plastic. But, hey, what do I know? Hey, look, massive lithium deposits found in southwestern Arkansas. Okay, well, there you go. Now, by the way, if that is in the news now, that means that the mining company that found it and the federal government have known about it for months now, which would lead to me believing that they probably didn't wash all of North Carolina into the Atlantic so they could get to the lithium. And by the way, the largest lithium deposit on Earth is in Nevada. So I don't buy that they use some super secret storm generator. No, not really. Hunger Games said, have hope. Here's the thing. Hope, we talked about this in the military. Hope ain't a strategy. It's a nice feeling, but it ain't a strategy. Just like worrying. Worrying has never accomplished anything. Think about it. Name something that worrying has actually accomplished. Like, what does worrying actually do? I'll give you a second. It does drain you. Let's see. Did I miss one? Altitude, not aptitude. Attitude, not aptitude. Well, you know what? If you've got attitude and aptitude, you're fucking unstoppable. If you're really good at what you do and you love what you do and you have a passion for it and it shows, yeah, gives you a heart attack. That's right. Affects your health, right? Does it do anything positive? Name something, give me something positive that worrying does. Like one thing. There's one thing that worrying actually accomplishes. Let's see. Polymarket cracks down on U.S. users as election odds soar in favor of Trump. Wow. Holy moly. I don't worry because I was raised by a Vietnam Marine. Uh-huh. But I do kind of worry. A panic attack. That's a good one. You got it censored for saying that. Gives you alternatives. Alternatives? You mean it helps you prepare? No. Yeah, but worrying doesn't prompt you to act. Planning. Thinking it through. Worrying about it doesn't help. Thinking about it and saying, okay, I got a challenge. What's the best way forward? Well, in my opinion, the best way forward is always through, but that's only because I am a hard-headed son of a bitch. I'm arrogant as hell, and I know I'm going to win. That's God's gift to me. It's not my size, it's my fucking attitude. Because I know I'm going to win. I always do. Call it luck, call it blessing. I don't care what you call it. I always win. And the best part is, I'm almost always in a position where I can help other people win while I'm winning. So I don't even have to feel bad about kicking ass because I'm not kicking anybody else's ass unless it's a fight. If somebody's doing something wrong, okay, well, that's different. Let's see. What about experts saying that moderate amount of stress is necessary to get tax? Those people are full of shit. Absolutely full of shit. Yep, and it's just a bunch of digits floating around. Absolutely nothing. That's right. Yeah. Worrying does not accomplish anything. Nothing. Now, if you have a problem or a potential problem and you're worrying about it, you're not acting on it. You're not doing something about it. You're not planning. You're not thinking about how am I going to overcome this? You're worried about not being able to. Fuck that. Why defeat yourself? Look, if you're going to get defeated, go down swinging. That's it. It's just a waste of energy, and it will kill you. Well, that's the thing. I mean, you know, when I think of something, when I think of a challenge that's ahead of me, when I think to myself, okay, in order for this to happen, man, there's got to be like 10 things have to line up perfectly. Okay. Fuck it. Let's start lining them up. And then when one of them doesn't line up properly, I make sure it does. And that's it. You just don't give up. Period. Now, there are times when you do everything you can and everything goes wrong. At that point, you have two options. You can either do what 90% of people on planet Earth do, which is blame everything and everyone and every circumstance around you. And what exactly does that do? It makes you powerless. You are a victim of circumstance. The universe is against you. God hates you. What the fuck kind of silly bullshit is that? I don't even want people around me that talk like that or think like that. If something goes wrong and you lose, it's because you didn't do what was necessary. And if that's your attitude, you will always improve. And sometimes getting your ass handed to you will turn out to be the best thing that ever happened to you. The best thing that ever happened to me in business was literally getting charged in court for doing something so stupid that when I look back on it, I can't believe that I did it. I can't believe I didn't think this through. I started a solar company. Okay, why did I start a solar company? Because I'm an altruist. I'm an optimist. And I thought, I can make money. I can help people get solar. I can help get all of these people in California away from PG&E and Southern California Edison. I could save them money. I could fucking save the world. Holy shit, this is a great idea. So I just jumped right into it. Now, this was a long time ago. But what didn't I do? Well, I didn't do a lot of paperwork. And the reason I didn't do paperwork is because that's beneath me. That's for the little people. That's for the little folks I hire. See, first mistake right there? Mistake number one. Number two, I decided that I wanted to make sure that I didn't just slap a solar system on somebody's house, because every asshole can do that. What makes me special? What makes me better? I'm going to go to their house first, and I'm going to show them how to optimize their home first before we even put the solar system on. Let's figure out how we can make your air conditioning better, how we can take out all of the incandescent lights. Yeah, this was a long time ago when we still had incandescent light bulbs. And let's replace them. Let's do all of these things. Let's make sure that if your windows aren't double paned, we at least put a coating on them. Let's do all of the little stuff so that instead of a $50,000 solar system, you only need a $20,000 solar system because you're more energy efficient. Nobody in California was doing that. They were just saying, oh, this is your bill? Okay, well, this is how big a system you need. Well, why is the bill so big? Well, because energy rates were enormous. Okay, but why else? Well, because my house was built in 1967 and I don't even have a vent in my attic and I live in the desert of California. That could be a problem because your attic's going to get up to about 200 degrees during the day. So I went in and I talked to people about getting solar systems. And I explained to them why I was different and how I was going to do it. And they fell in love with me. They loved it. They thought it was fantastic. Yeah, that makes so much sense. Why didn't anybody else say this? And I said, because they don't care. They just want to sell you a solar system. I want to make your life better. And they were like, okay, we're in. Well, then, you want to make sure that the job's done, right? You're going to have to put vents in the roof. You're going to have to hire somebody to go out and make sure that their HVAC system is at least 13 SEER. You might have to replace it if it's old and shitty. So you do all of this stuff. For those of you who are contractors, for those of you who have been in the construction business, there's a person on every job site who hires subcontractors to do work on homes. What would that person be called? That person also pulls permits. Anybody? Anybody want to take a swing at what? Oh, that's right, a general contractor. And in order to be a general contractor, you have to have a what? If you're thinking contracting license, you're right. You do have to have a contracting license. Do I have a contracting license? Do I have a general contracting license, which is much fucking harder than, I don't know, say a guy who wants to pave your driveway? No, I don't. I don't even have a contracting license of any kind. Technically, in California, I couldn't wash your toilet probably because I don't have a license for it. And they have licensing for everything. So I went down with the contractor. I hired an electrician to work on all of the homes. And I pulled permits. He showed me which ones. I pulled them. I paid for them. Mm-hmm. And then the state showed up and said, are you a general contractor? And I said, no. Why would I have to be a general contractor? And they said, because you're working in the capacity of a general contractor. Are you aware that's a felony? And I said, so what? And they said, yeah, that's a felony. In the state of California, because you're committing fraud, you're telling people that you're a general contractor. And I said, no. I never told anybody I was a general contractor. And they said, no, no, you don't have to say it. You just have to work in the capacity of a general contractor. And that's how you're committing fraud in California. And I said, well, I can explain. And they said, no, no, you're going to prison for 22 years. So I worked my ass off while I was awaiting my court date to go to prison for, I don't know, God himself only knows how many charges there were, but there were a lot of charges. And the district attorney, the prosecutor, was saying, look, you're the worst kind of scumbag in the world. You take people's money, and you don't fucking do the work. And I was like, no, I'm doing the work. And they said, well, yeah, that's what you say. And I was like, talk to the people who I did the work for. They'll tell you I did the work. They're happy. And they said, well, it doesn't really matter if they're happy. He was a real asshole. And he said, look, here's what we're going to do. You've defrauded these people out of hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so we're going to take that into consideration as part of your sentence once we convict you. And I said, okay, but what if, hypothetically, what if I just gave the people their money back? And of course, immediately, their tone totally, completely changed. Oh, well, if you give them the money back. And I said, but, they've got the systems, right? They're about the systems. Put the vents, did the HVAC, did everything. So I already spent their money. So I'm going to have to pay them out of my own pocket. I'm going to have to literally refund them for something that they're totally happy with. And they said, yeah, well, if you do that, then we'll just convict you of a felony anyway, and then we'll expunge it. And I said, well, wait, if you're going to expunge it, why would you even bother to convict me of a felony? And they said, well, it's a long, complicated legal blah, blah, blah. So I talked to the judge, and you know what they told me? Yeah, this won't show up on your record, but it shows up on the prosecutor's record as a win, as a conviction. And that's how they get elected to the next higher office. They convict everybody of something. And I said, so this is going to destroy my security clearance. Like, I'm never going to be able to get a security clearance again. And they said, no, you'll be fine. This won't show up. So, of course, I had to do a couple of FBI background checks since then, and no, didn't show up. Then why do it? Why do it? Why make me? And by the way, when I was done with that company, I was literally homeless. I lost everything. And I lived with a buddy of mine in his hotel room. Now, the good news is I happened to get into all of this trouble just about the time that he was swinging into high gear. That's exactly what Kamala did. Thank you, Kamala Harris. So he was, and still is to this day, a guy who only works 90 days a year. Not bad. That's a pretty good gig, right? There's a catch. He strings Christmas lights for extremely wealthy people and big resorts. So he'll do something like the Phoenician Resort here in Phoenix, and he'll charge them $25,000, and he'll string lights everywhere, and they will look absolutely gorgeous. I told him, look, man, my solar company just exploded in my face, and I don't know what to do. Like, I don't even know what, like, I gotta dig in. I gotta dig my fucking heels in, man. I can't just sit here and feel sorry for myself. And he said, you want to come to work with me? And I said, okay. Why do you say it like that? Like, what's the catch? And he goes, we get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and we work until after dark every single day. We'll probably work from 5 to 8. I said, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. He said, absolutely, every single day. We don't get a day off. But I'll pay you $200 a day. You work for me for the next 60 days nonstop. And I said, Done. And that's how I was no longer homeless after 60 days. I literally stayed in a hotel with him for 60 days and just worked my ass off. And let me tell you something, folks. You want a job that's intense? It was me and 3 Guatemalan dudes who were half my size. And my buddy's first name is Grant. And Grant didn't expect me to do less than they did. These fuckers would climb trees. And remember, it's in California, Beverly Hills, places like that. They would climb up into trees 60, 70 feet up. When he strung a tree, like, I remember there's one that I'll never forget. It was one of the biggest fucking pine trees I've ever seen in my life in this lady's front yard. It had to be 200 years old, and it was almost 100 feet tall. And she said, look, I want it to be completely decorated, like the tree inside my house. The tree inside her house looked like it should have been in the lobby of Saks Fifth Avenue. It was gorgeous. And Grant said, not a problem, ma'am. It's going to be about $15,000 for that tree. And she said, fine, do it. You know, it's funny when you get up in the top of a tree like that and you weigh, by that point, luckily, we'd been doing it for almost a month, and I had lost 45 pounds in that month. I was eating much as I could, but I was literally dropping weight so fast it was scary. When I finally left that job and came back to Arizona, and my buddies saw me for the first time in about 6 months, they went, dude, you have cancer or something? What the hell's wrong with you? And I said, what do you mean? They said, you're so skinny. And I said, yeah, I've been climbing fucking trees all day, every day, and climbing up the sides of buildings and climbing ladders and reaching way, way, way out on tree limbs that I was absolutely sure were going to break, and I was going to fall 50 feet to my death. It was a fucking blast. I'm so glad I did it, because Grant works 60 days up until Christmas. Then he takes Christmas to New Year's off. He goes back after New Year's and he takes down all of those lights. He can take down the lights in about half the time. You don't have to worry about spacing them out. When you're wrapping them around a tree, Grant would literally come and he would put 2 fingers between each space to make sure that they were done correctly. That's how very, very good he was. It's kind of scary being that far up in the tree. Yeah, well, when you weigh 200, at that time I weighed 270 pounds. Yeah, I'm not built for that. One of these days, I will definitely write a book, because I've done a lot of crazy shit in my life, because I'm not afraid to try. That's the key. Look, you might fail. Fucking go try it anyway. What's the worst that can happen? You fail. Okay, then figure out why. Maybe if it's something you really love doing, you do it again and you fail. And then you figure out, oh shit, I didn't see that other thing. Okay, try it again. That's how people succeed. Walt Disney went to 300 banks who all said the same thing. Wait, you want to build a theme park in the middle of an orange grove? In the middle of nowhere? Orange County's 50 miles from LA, bro. You're an idiot. Like, that's never going to work. Are you going to have little animatronic things that, like, who's going to pay to go to that? No, we won't loan you the money. And then finally, he went to the Bank of Italy. Oh, they've since changed their name because they thought it was too ethnic. They changed it to Bank of America. Human cannonball in a circus, son of a bitch. I love it. Well, then you got to come gator hunting. See, the only way I would actually hunt anything is if we ate it. Not big on eating gators, although I have, and they taste like chicken. Oh, no, that's cool. Published author. You can do something I can't do, which is maintain a thought process long enough to finish the sentence without going back and rewriting it 14 times. Oh, well, if we're going to eat the fucking thing, then yeah. Do we do it with, like, our hands and duct tape? That seems really, really hardcore. Yeah, I'll do that. Fuck it. Absolutely. Let's see. When am I going to be in Louisiana next? 2 weeks. Oh yeah, brother, I'm coming. I'll be going from Baltimore, or as they say in Baltimore, Balmer, down to Atlanta, Georgia, Stone Mountain, actually. And did you say you're dyslexic? Yes, really badly. I tried to drop out of high school in my sophomore year because I was failing English, I failed every single spelling test we took. And I copied the fucking words off the board. I copied them down. I wrote them down, went home, studied them, memorized them, but I copied them down wrong, and then I memorized them wrong. Well, that doesn't help. Order in before you go. I want to get an order in before you go gator hunting. Oh, absolutely. Oh, I see what you're saying. Thanks for the vote of confidence, you fucker. You're thinking I'm going to get eaten by a gator. That's not going to happen, man. Well, actually, I felt what a gator feels like. They're pretty nasty. They're dinosaurs, man. I'm going to go fight a dinosaur. I like it. I think I have undiagnosed ADHD. A lot of people do. And it's because of the shit they put in our food. But here's the thing. ADHD is a superpower. And you have to understand that it's a superpower. So if you have it, don't try to, get rid of it. I take a pit stop in Knoxville. Are you one of my clients? Hudimus. I might have to stop because I told Larry Keating, who's on here, that I was going to send him that ounce that I somehow managed to lose. First time that's ever happened, but it happened. And then I sent actually more than that in the mail because I wanted to surprise him. Yep, registered mail, actually. Wanted to make sure it got there. It should have been there Monday, and it's still not there. So I'm feeling a little worried about that. But I told him, look, if that fucking thing doesn't show up, I'm going to deliver a couple of ounces to you because I'm going to be in Baltimore, and then I'm going to go to Stone Mountain, Georgia. And I think he's in Tennessee or Kentucky. I don't know. It's all the same shit to me. So I might have to go, 100, 200 miles out of my way. But man, it's good for business. Look, you short a guy 1 full ounce. You live in Phoenix. You show up at his house in Tennessee to deliver it. Oh, there you are. You still on here, Larry? Good. Will you be coming to Dallas? Ray, I was talking to on the phone. I've been texting with today. It depends. If you've got money, I got Dallas. I'm not looking forward to Dallas, by the way. I don't like Dallas. Dallas is it's kind of like Rockwall, Texas ain't Dallas. Rockwall is a small town in Texas full of Texans. Dallas is, I don't even know what to fucking describe Dallas as. I lived there for 2 months and I was like, this place is just there is nothing real here. This whole town is just full of shit. It's like all the horse shit and gun smoke that you would normally get from cowboys. But then they actually kick ass and take names too. You didn't get that part. It was just all horse shit and gun smoke. Ugh, I didn't like it. I went to San Antonio. I fell in love with San Antonio, man. That place is Texas. Yeah, Rockwall's different. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, John Kennedy didn't like Dallas either. Yeah, no kidding. Now, I was in Dallas one day on a business trip, actually, a long time ago. And I was staying at the what hotel was it? The Hilton. I went to the front desk and I said, "Hey, man, do you know where Dealey Plaza is?" And the guy looked at me and he goes, "Yeah. Why are you asking me that?" And I thought, well, what a fucking rude answer. And I said, well, I mean, I've studied the JFK assassination for about 6 years now, and I've read every book on the JFK assassination. And I figured since I'm in Dallas, I would want to go to Dealey Plaza. Why? And he goes, And I looked above his head, and it said, Hilton Hotel, comma, Dealey Plaza. I said, oh, so we're in Dealey Plaza? He goes, well, technically it's under that underpass. And I said, underpass? And he goes, yeah, the underpass. And I went, holy shit, man. So I could just walk over there? He goes, yeah, it's right there. And he points, and I can see under the underpass, I can see the fucking grassy knoll from inside the hotel. And I went, oh shit. All right, thanks, man. And I walked over there. I walked up the grassy knoll, and I walked around behind the fence, and I stood on the grassy knoll, and I looked over that fence, and I was shocked. I was shocked. The street's right there, like right fucking there. It's not like 100 meters. It's like literally shorter than most people's driveways. It's just right there in front of you. And I was looking at it, and I went, holy shit, a headshot from here? You could do that blindfolded. And then I saw on the sidewalk, I was like, wow, this is creepy, man. There's a lot of flowers there. And I thought, I wonder if people leave flowers there like every day. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, you know. You'd leave flowers there, right? There were a lot of flowers, though. Vases with flowers. And I thought, man, from right here, somebody killed my president. I am not okay with that. I'm not okay with that. I want to know who did this. I thought, how long ago was it? Let's see, what's the date today? It was November 22nd. November 22nd, 1993. It had literally been exactly 30 years that day. And there I was standing on the grassy knoll looking at where my president was murdered. Man, that was a very strange feeling. There was nobody in Dealey Plaza, not a single human. Nobody. You couldn't see anybody around. I looked behind me in the parking lot. There's nobody. It was like a ghost town there. And I thought, man, that's nuts. Yeah, 1963, before I was even born. But, you know, I called my dad and I said, who do you think did it? And he said, that's not a question I will answer on the phone. He hung up. I was like, why does he do that shit? Like, why does he do that all the time? I'd call him and ask him stuff. And, you know, I ask him, hey, what do you think about, you know, terrorist threats? And, you know, do you really think that, that someday they might, you know, bomb us or something? And he goes, and I said something else, and I shouldn't have said it. It's a code word. And I said, do you think this is true? And he goes, you fucking idiot. And I said, what? And he goes, did you really just say that to me on an open phone line, you asshole? And I said, what do you mean? He goes, you just flagged us for at least the next 6 months. You fucking dummy. And he hung up on me. And I was like, flagged? What the hell's he talking about? Well, my dad had never told me at that point that he worked for the CIA. You don't have these conversations if you work in the agency. You don't have these conversations, period, with anybody ever. And here's this stupid kid who didn't know what he had done. I did talk about Echelon. And this was before Echelon was anybody knew about Echelon. Echelon was, and Carnivore. These were very, very top secret programs at the time. And I knew about them, which I shouldn't have, but I did. And yeah, he was pissed. But, you know, what he said that when I finally did talk to him in person and he chewed my ass and told me to stop saying stupid shit on the phone, I got it. Now it doesn't matter. I have a microphone on this. I have a microphone on that. I have a microphone on my computer. I have a microphone on this. I have a microphone on, I mean, just pick something. I got earbuds right here. You can activate these and listen. I mean, you know, there's 100 things that you can listen to. So really, OPSEC or operational security doesn't even exist anymore. There's no such thing. So it doesn't really matter anymore. But back then, there was actually a degree of operational security. You didn't talk about it unless you were in person and you were out in the yard somewhere. Yeah, well, that's the thing. In the old days, you'd call from a payphone to a payphone, but you couldn't call somebody at home because as soon as you said something, they'd flag their home. That's it. We're monitoring this. You know, they said these 4 words, and these 4 words set off the algorithm that even back then, look, they had 22 Cray mainframes buried under Langley. 40 years ago. 40 years ago, they had Cray mainframes, which had an enormous computing power, even by today's standards. Now, today's mainframes they can monitor every single phone call. They can monitor everything. It's TIA, baby. That's called Total Informational Awareness. Total Informational Awareness was an idea that Donald Rumsfeld had. And unfortunately for Donald Rumsfeld, he brought it up first to Bill Clinton, who said, "Are you out of your fucking mind? We can't sign that. That'd be great. But if anybody finds out that we're doing this, do you have any idea what would happen?" So they did it anyway. They just didn't talk about it. And then, of course, when somebody did find out and threatened to make it public, they shut it down. Interestingly, the day that they shut that operation down, the very same day that they shut that operation down, was the very first day that Facebook existed. Coincidence? I'm sure. Sure, it's a coincidence. What's so great about Facebook? Well, if I were in the information collection business and I could come up with a way for people to put everything they do all day, all of their likes, all of their dislikes, all of their hopes, their dreams, their plans, their failures, their successes, all into my computer system, wouldn't that be glorious? I wouldn't even have to try and spy on them. I mean, they're just going to puke all that stuff up and they're going to put it in my lap. There you go. So you know what Crays are capable of. Cray mainframes that was the shit for a long time. So, people go on Facebook and they just punch in everything. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, look, a game I can play. Okay, well, let's show the algorithm what I value more, this or that. Well, I'm going to choose this in my game. Okay. Oh, I'm going to make this mistake. Oh, well, they're going to figure out my IQ now because I'm playing a game and I'm winning at it or I'm losing at it. Two ex-wives. Me too. And by the way, Ray, 1951. I will be coming through. It looks like, wait a minute. Let's do a little homework here. Okay, that's wrong. Boom, here we go. Looks like the 3rd, and the 4th, and the 5th, and the 6th. Probably the 6th. 6th. That's a fucking tough word for me to say. I used to have a speech impediment when I was a kid. I bit my S's, so I talked like this. I sounded like Sylvester the Cat. You don't think that made me tough? Oh, yeah. When you have Farmville, there you go. Never played Farmville. It looked really cute, though. It was really cute. And I got invitations from every single person that I knew. Everybody said, "Hey, you've got to come play this." And I was like, nope, not a chance. Looks like November 6th. or 7th, 6th or 7th. I'll keep you posted. It just really depends on how much I want to drive, because I will be driving. I'll be in a red 2014 Suburban. I'm just kidding. I would, in case there's anybody on here who wants to try and pull me over and rob me. Nobody knows what I'm going to be in. I don't even know what I'm going to be in. As Sam. Huh. What are your thoughts on Mark Cuban endorsing Kamala Harris? They got something on him. They got something on him. That's it. Look, you think there are people out there who aren't being held sort of at, I would say, psychological, philosophical gunpoint to vote for her so that we'll keep your secrets safe? P. Diddy, Epstein. Why is the Epstein client list not public? The entire client list. He's got tens of thousands of hours of videotape of people doing incredibly illegal and evil things. Why have we not seen a single minute of a single videotape? Why has there not been a single allegation against any of those people by the FBI? Anybody want to take a swing at that? Has anybody been charged? Has there been a single grand jury convened? None. Why? Look, we know what he did. We know who Epstein is. We know what he did. We know, even from the mainstream media, who said the FBI is going into his island home and they're finding thousands of hours of videotapes because every single room had secret cameras. Diddy went even farther. He had cameras in his closets just in case somebody snuck in there because they weren't out of the closet yet. So where is that stuff? Where is it? I just want to know, like, why is it that years later, not a single person on any of those videotapes has been convicted of anything? They haven't even been charged. Who are they? Well, we can see from his flight logs that it's people like the Prime Minister of Israel. What? He flew on there? Why? Well, just for the heck of it. See, that's the problem. Well, everybody knows the Clintons were there. Everybody knows that he went there, but so what? They said it. He denied it. That's that. Done. Unless, of course, there's video. You think there might be a video? Because if there is, then that's absolute, undeniable proof of something. Now, if it's Bill Clinton with some hot 25-year-old blonde, well, you know what? That's a personal issue, and that's something he has to take up with Hillary. Why he would ever cheat on her, I can't even imagine. Such a passionate woman. But let's just say he doesn't have the same kind of amazing taste in women I do. And he would rather have somebody young and nubile as opposed to that other. My point is, perhaps it's not somebody that's 25. With all of the crossover that you're going to see between Diddy's list and Epstein's list, and not a single charge has been filed, how is that even possible? Are you telling me that the FBI got all of those tapes and then they put them away and didn't look at them? You have absolute empirical evidence of incredibly heinous crimes being committed. The worst kind of crimes, according to everybody in this country. And you're not interested in prosecuting them? Why wouldn't you prosecute somebody for those types of things? It's not even about money. It's about power. Those people are now beholden to someone, and they know that their entire lives are held in the palm of someone else's hand. Maybe it's a group of people who know, and they have all of those names, and they've seen all of those videotapes, and they've taken snippets of those videotapes and they've shared them with the people in the videotapes. And they've said, look, we don't want this to be an issue, and we're sure you don't want this to be an issue. So let's not make it an issue. By the way, we were just wondering if you could help us with a couple of things. It's not conditional. We're just simply saying that at this point in time, we're not really interested in pursuing charges against you. What are you going to do? If you're one of those people, if you're in a position where no one else knows what you've done, and no one else will ever know what you've done, and are probably still doing, but this one group does, do you ever say no to them again? Can you ever say no to them again? I find it ironic that these people who thought of themselves as above the law, who went down to this island to do all of these things that commoners like us aren't allowed to do because we follow these silly laws, but because they're rich and powerful, they're above the law. And now they're slaves. Every single person that's on every single one of those videotapes that's not a victim is a slave. No free will. How would you like to be in that position? Yeah, sure, you're rich. You pretend to be powerful, but you know you're not anymore. You have zero power. You can order your subordinates around. You can pretend like you're still the boss. But you know that there is somebody who literally has the keys to a prison in their pocket. And all they have to do is take them out and unlock that door, and you're going in for the rest of your fucking life. Well, I don't think you've been exactly in the same situation, because you'd have to be a perpetrator, not a victim. See, that's the key. You'd have to be one of the bad guys, because there's no way out if you're a bad guy. There's no way out. And all you can do literally every day is hope that the people who are in charge now, who are your allies, sort of, not really, they're your keepers, they're your owners, that those owners don't lose their power. Because if they lose their power, then the chain of events that happens next is absolutely unstoppable. It is an avalanche, and there's nothing you can do about it. And there is only one way out of that. Epstein took it. And no, I don't think he hung himself. He talked too much about how he was untouchable, and somebody helped him out. There you go. So I'm going to be coming out there on the 3rd to Baltimore. From Balmer, I'll be heading down to Georgia. It's going to be fun. What time we got? Oh, okay. Let me check something on my live stream here. Boom. We've been on here for a while. This is awesome. Kamala's going to save us. Yeah, oh, there's a laughing face next to it. On my live stream on YouTube, it says Kamala is going to save us, but then there's a laughing face. So don't go crazy on me here. Yeah, so I don't know who that guy is that you're talking about that is going to change things and release names. He's not, unless he's allowed to, because if you have the names, number one, that means you're inside the circle. the circle of trust. And if you're inside the circle of trust and you decide that you want to leave the circle of trust, there's only one way out, and that's up. You're going to go to heaven because you're not getting out of that. That's just not how it works, you know? When I see whistleblowers, hope I see you at Monster Mash. Oh, you definitely will. They censored that. What did silver do today? It pulled back a little bit, not too much. It's going back up again now, but we got a little bit of a price break. It's not much, but man, I'll take it. I'll take whatever I can get, because the reality is, if it just goes up and up and up and up and up, that's bad news. That we don't want that. I know it sounds like that would be great, but the reality is we'll run out of silver almost instantly. Yeah, it's back over 34 again. But we don't want that. We don't want to run out of silver. And then what good does it do us if it goes to 75 and you can't buy it? So a little bit of a retracement. Good. Goes back up again. Then it comes back a little. Good. That keeps people guessing, and it keeps enough people out of the market. And, look, bottom line is, if everybody buys silver, the market freezes up instantly. Like, if everybody in the United States bought 3 ounces of silver, the entire world supply of silver would be gone, and the banks would collapse. Literally. You want to collapse the banking system of the United States of America? It's very simple. Have every single person in the United States buy 3 ounces. That's it. There aren't 3 ounces per person in existence right now that are available. So if you do that, you automatically force all of these people like SLV, who for every ounce they've sold about 400 ounces. How? Well, because they are literally living by the numbers. They're saying, look, we get virtually 0 people who request delivery. Nobody takes it. They're just betting on it. So, hey, we're good. Now, if people actually say, I want it, Kitco said 42 by the end of the year. That's funny. I don't buy Kitco's bullshit at all. Don't listen to Kitco. Kitco is not what you think. They're not a wholesaler or a retailer of silver and gold. They own Sunshine Mines. They make all of the silver for the United States Treasury Department. They own dozens of other companies secretly. They have become this enormous sort of octopus in this industry, and they have their tentacles in everything. And yes, they will be more than happy to manipulate whatever they need to. That's one company that if you're not in, you're not getting in. And I've known those guys for 25 years, and I won't do business with them anymore. Why are you a Democrat before, and why did you become a Republican now? Because the Democrats lost their minds. They just went nuts, man. They just lost their freaking minds. It just got to a point where the policies just become more and more and more silly. I mean, it's just more silly. Like, look, do I care what you do on your night off with your girlfriend or your boyfriend, or your girlfriend and your boyfriend, or maybe 5 other people? Hey, have a great time. You know what? Do your thing. Put a shower curtain down on your bed, get some lube, and go fucking bananas with all your neighbors. I don't care. Humans, we're all crazy. We all do weird, crazy shit. Don't make it something that my son at 11 years old has to understand. Okay? Let's let the naivete linger for a while. He'll figure all that shit out on his own when he's older and his brain works a little better than it does now. He's a sharp kid, but he's a kid. This isn't kid stuff. So don't tell me that if my kid goes to Washington State and says that he's run away from home because he's a girl and he doesn't want to be a boy anymore because he knows in his heart he's a girl, that they not only will keep his information from me if I call them and I say, do you have any idea what the whereabouts of my son are? They won't tell me. Yeah, they won't tell me. And they'll help him with his sex change operation. State funded. What? But I'm his dad. Oh, well, then you're just an abusive father. You won't let him be who he truly is. Wait, what? No, I'll let him be who he truly is when he's 18 and he becomes who he's truly supposed to be. But right now he's a child. Like, he literally thinks I'm the fucking Hulk. He believes that still. He literally believes that. He said that to a friend of mine that I was in the Marine Corps with. And he said, they experimented on my dad. And because they did. And he overheard me talking about that to my doctor. And then he put two and two together and he realized, like, okay, I get it. My dad's actually the Hulk. Well, he believes that still. What am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to tell him about, like grown-ups' weird sexual predilections and how some guys like guys and why, and what does that mean even? Like, he told me that, some of his friends are gay in 5th grade and 6th grade. And I said, well, they might believe that now. And he said, well, no, they are, because they said so. Now, how do I tell my son that, no, actually, you see, if you're a man and you say you're gay, then obviously that is a sexual preference, which means you have to be sexual. And if you're in 5th grade, you're not allowed to be. In most cases, you're not physically capable of being. So how can you be gay? Like, how can you have a sexual preference at that age? I can't talk to him about that. So I just go, okay, well, that sounds fun. I guess if it doesn't bother you. And he just kind of laughs and shakes it off. And he's like, yeah, it's kind of weird, but I like girls. He's already told me his plan for getting married, settling down with the right woman and having a couple of kids. And it's like, where'd he get that from? I don't know, but that's just what he said. So for me personally, it's not an issue. But for some people, it is. For some people, it really is an issue. For some people, it's such an issue that it can destroy their lives and the lives of their children. So how is that something that is okay? Like, how can you look, if you're going to take away the right of a mother or a father to actually be a parent, what rights won't you take away? Like, that's probably the most fundamental right that a human being has, procreation. That's a God-given right for us to be able to have children. It's basically what drives all of us. And so to take that right to be a parent away from me because you don't agree with me, then what rights are next? Freedom of speech is nothing compared to that. If I'm not free to be a parent, then who gives a shit about that? You can take away my guns? Well, yeah, because I don't agree with you on sex change operations. So clearly I'm not stable. I'm abusive. I mean, it's just a slippery slope. And when I started seeing this, and then of course the real thing was COVID. I watched what Tony Fauci did, standing behind Trump, rolling his eyes, shrugging his shoulders like, God, this guy's just such an idiot. Ivermectin, you're an idiot? No, ivermectin is now an approved treatment for COVID-19, according to the CDC. Why wasn't it back when Trump was in charge? Because they didn't want him to look like he was even close to right. They wanted to make him look like an idiot. And they were willing to sacrifice my family to do it. And when I say that, I actually mean quite literally, they sacrificed my family. Oh, wait a minute. Let's see. Walz passed a law in Minnesota how minors can have gender surgeries without parents' consent. I mean, how? How is that? Like, in what world is that okay? But passed from vax. Yeah, well, you and a lot of other people. And that's really starting to come out. The medical reviews are starting to become a lot more honest about that. And there are probably things I can't even talk about on TikTok. I'll talk about them as soon as I end the live stream. I'll jump over here for a few minutes and talk on YouTube about it. Some studies that I read that are really shocking. I mean, I was stunned. No, Arizona doesn't allow that. Absolutely not. We have we have a Democratic governor, but we are a very red state overall. And it's just not, we're just not down with that. So here's something that's interesting though. When they were lying about the mortality rates and how dangerous this was and scaring the shit out of everybody, I was still a Democrat, so I still watched MSNBC and I still watched CNN, and I thought Fox was full of shit. I wouldn't ever watch them. And because of that, and because of the fear that they instilled, and not just me, but everybody in my family, I told my daughters that if they were going to continue to go to school, which Arizona allowed, based on my danger of dying from COVID, that they would have to live with their mother. My daughters always lived with me. My kids have always lived with me, even after a divorce, because, money's never an issue. So as long as I make sure that I pay, their moms have always been cool with, okay, well, if they want to stay with you for a while, that's okay. It's not that they don't love them. It's not that they don't want them around. They go over to their mom's house, several times a week and visit and hang out and go to lunch or whatever, but they live with me. That's the way I like it. I just like having my kids around. I love my kids. But I told them that they had to go live with their mother, because if they got COVID at school and brought it home and I got it, it would kill me. So they left. They went and lived with their mom. That was it. They were in their junior and senior year of high school. That was that. They left. They went and lived with their mom. I saw them 4 months later, 5 months later. Now, if I'd known the truth, they would have never lived with their mom. They would have stayed with me. They'd still be with me to this day, because they still live with their mom. And that is not something I will ever, ever forgive Tony Fauci for, or Rachel Maddow, or any of the other lying scumbags. Oh boy. Well, look at that. Do I agree with this decision? No. I just got kicked off of TikTok again. Let's see. Okay. And there. Boom. Now, when does this say that I will be able to go on again? October 30th. Oh boy, they kicked me off for a whole week this time. All right. You know what? Fuck them. Let's see. I'm going to submit, because it's for hate speech and hateful behaviors. Wow. Or promotion of hateful ideologies. Wow. Oh, this includes content that attacks a person or group because of protected attributes, like Tony Fauci, because he is science. Well, guys, that's how it works. So I guess I won't be doing any TikToks for the next week. Yep, you knew that was coming. Oh, that's funny. I got my ass kicked right off of there. Well, that's okay. I will continue to do these. I'll do one. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Thursday. Yes. And then I will, I know. It is what it is, man. It's, this is the way TikTok is. When it was Chinese, they spied on us and they listened in, and they just did what they do. So, but on now that it's no longer owned by China, now that it's run by the United States, by the Texas Project, now they're not just spying. Now they're censoring. So it's a whole new ball game here. So, it is what it is. But I said I would talk about some of the things that happened that I couldn't talk about on there. Interestingly enough, like when I finally got COVID, because I think everybody got it. When I finally got it, I remember that it was really funny, because I got it and I said to my buddy, "Are you sure we got COVID?" And he said, "Yeah, well, everybody tested positive." And I was like, "Huh." I mean, I feel sick a little bit, but I mean, shit, I've had hangovers worse than this. And he's like, "Are you sure, dude? I don't feel good. Like, I feel sick." And I said, "Yeah, I mean, it's, feels like the flu." And he goes, "Yeah, it does. You're not going to stay home?" And I was like, "Because of the flu? No, I'm going to go do my thing." Now, I will say this, my son, who was 10 at the 9 at the time, 10 at the time, I guess he was 9. Yeah, he was pretty sick. He was pretty sick for a week. My ex was very sick for a few days. And then, she took almost a week off, but she was sick. Everybody was sick. It was, it's not like, hey, this is fun. I wish I could get more. It wasn't like that. But it wasn't what they said it was at all. So, and then lying about where it came from, lying about, where we knew that it came from. I mean, I got kicked off of Facebook because having studied nuclear, biological, and chemical warfare in the Marine Corps, as soon as I saw biological, and then I saw that there was the Wuhan Institute of Virology 8 miles away from this wet market. And then once I saw that the virologists who had studied it, not in this country, of course, but in other countries, basically said, look, we've tested 150,000 different species, and this doesn't fit any of them. Like, this thing looks like it was designed for humans. Like, it normally comes over to humans. It makes that jump initially, and it's very, very hard to transmit because it's not designed for humans. And so eventually it catches up, and then it becomes very lethal. But then what happens is, as the virus mutates and evolves, it realizes, like, shit, I don't want to kill my host. If I kill my host, I kill myself. So it always, every single time, every virus becomes less and less and less dangerous to humans, because its job is simply to infect you and to pass it on. That's all it wants to do. It just wants to live in you, make you the Holiday Inn, and then do what everybody else wants to do. Make whoopee, pass it on. It just wants to pass on its genes. So if it kills you, that's counterintuitive. Viruses don't want to kill you. They only kill you initially until they figure out how to live with you. And of course, there's shit like Marburg, which, Marburg is not designed for humans. It is transmissible. It's not highly transmissible yet. It could mutate and become that way, but that's a 50% mortality rate. I looked at my mortality rate as a guy in his 50s, and as a healthy 50-something-year-old man, my odds of survival were 99.06%. Okay, so that's not as dangerous as the common flu then. No. Oh. Well, in 2020, how many people had the flu? If you go to the CDC website, like I did, and look it up in 2021, at the beginning of 2021, I wanted to see, like, okay, how bad was it? Nobody had the flu. There were no reported cases of flu. 0. What? How is that possible? Well, Ebola shouldn't really scare you because it's extremely hard to pass on. It's got to be through blood, tissue, that kind of thing. And on top of that, the survival rate for Ebola is extremely high in developed countries. In third world countries, it's horrific. It's over 50%. But in industrialized countries where you can get treatment right away for it, and excellent treatment, it's much, much lower than that. So it's not as bad as Marburg. Marburg is, there are types of the camel flu. There is a specific type of camel flu that killed 80% of the people who got it. What? It's like, well, I guess we know how God feels about making out with camels. It's a bad idea. So there are some, there are some nasty ones out there, but when they talk about monkeypox. It's like, really? You're going to try and scare me with monkeypox? No, we meant bird flu. Oh, H1N1, H1N5. Oh, okay. How deadly is that? Well, it's a flu. Okay, but you want to have people wear masks again? Well, in California, yeah, you are going to mandate masks. Well, in some areas, yeah. It's like, what the fuck are you people doing? Like, what's going on here? You look at the countries that had no mask mandates, they didn't isolate, they didn't lock people down. Not only did their economies do extremely well, but on top of that, their mortality rates were exactly the same as ours. Very low. Oh, when they said, and this was really one of the things, this is what broke me from the Democrats completely and utterly, and that was when they were talking about mandating that my son have the vaccine. And I thought, wait, what? How many kids his age have died from COVID-19? So I went to the CDC website because look, if you go to the source, don't watch the news and hope they're right. Go to the source. So I went to the CDC website and I looked it up, and I found out that there had been a total of 158 deaths of children between the ages of newborn and 14 years old. This was at the end of 2021 when COVID had been around for almost 2 full years. 158 deaths out of hundreds of millions of cases. Yeah, 158 deaths. Okay, well, let me click this link that says how many of them had comorbidities. All of them. Every one of those children had a comorbidity. Not one single child who died from COVID was unhealthy. But they're talking about mandating that my kid gets a vaccine? No, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, I'm not doing this. There's just no way. So that was it. That's when I decided, hey, look, these guys have just, I'm still in the same place. I'm still a bleeding heart that wants to help the downtrodden, so to speak, but not like this. Not with totalitarian, crazy bullshit about cutting a kid's wiener off. What? How is that? Like, what is that? What part of that is democratic? Like, how do you like? I always believe the Democrats were like the hippies. They're the ones who wanted to help everybody. And look, they may have crazy ideas, but they're all to help people. Not these ideas. Yeah. The one of the comments on here is that his daughter was bedridden. Yeah. There's so many people that have this story. Some of the estimates that I've seen on YouTube from virologists are that the vaccine itself may have killed as many as 16 million people. Well, if the cure is worse than the disease, give me the disease. I'd rather have it. So that's where we're at there. So anyway, I just broke a record, by the way. I have looking at the corner up here, I've got 12 people on my live stream. Yeah. Joe Rogan, eat your fucking heart out, baby. Anyway, I'm going to call it a night, but I will obviously be on here extensively, unless I win the dispute. I just appealed it and said, hey, what are you talking about? I don't think they'll give me the appeal. I think they're going to make me stay off for a week because I was talking about the insanity of chopping a little girl's boobs off. Now, I know you're thinking, well, why would that be hateful? But it's TikTok. It's complicated. Yeah, a lot of people did that. There were people who got the shot, and within hours they had a massive coronary. They were gone, and it's like, shit. What is going on here, man? And why would you cover that up? Well, you have to look into who gave Pfizer and Moderna the vaccine. Because I found out, and this is verifiable, that it was actually the Department of Defense that gave them the vaccine to manufacture. They didn't come up with the vaccine themselves. They didn't invent a vaccine. They were given the vaccine by the DoD. So then, of course, the question becomes, who in the DoD had the vaccine already? Well, let's see. Bingo. Robert's done his homework. DARPA. The same people who told Tony Fauci, we'll pay you to continue gain-of-function research, even though this guy, Obama, thinks he knows what he's talking about when he said no more. And we'll pay you handsomely. Well, as a matter of fact, when you combine it with your normal government paycheck, you'll be the highest paid government official in the United States of America. Half of that comes from the DoD. That's public record. It's not even like you've got to try to find that. That's easy. Too rude to ask people questions. Yeah. That's exactly right. Yeah, and people would ask me if I was vaccinated, and I would tell them no. Do I look like I'm vaccinated? And they would laugh. They'd go, no, you don't look like the type. And I can get away with that. I look like a fucking bear on steroids. So I'm not, people just assume that, like, okay, this guy, he probably wanted to get this shit just so he could fight it. But the reality is, I would have gotten the vaccine. I don't have anything against vaccines as long as they work. I got the polio vaccine, So anyway, guys. All right. Well, let's do this. Let's get together tomorrow night. I'll definitely be on here. If I'm not on TikTok, I'll still be on here. And we'll talk about what's going on with the silver market, because it's booming. So talk to you soon.